Welcome YouTube, welcome to another episode here at the Game Nights. We got something really special for you guys. We have our new debuting series. We're going to call it our Knights of the Round Table. I'm really excited to bring you guys this new series, and we finally have assembled all 4 game nights for this video. I'm super happy, guys, that you guys will finally get to meet everybody. So let's start off with some introductions. I will start off with Prophet.
Well, I'm Prophet, you know, I gotta spread the word of Yugioh.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have Wyatt, aka Lee, aka Jack's Jackal.
I do all the editing.
Yeah, you saw him recently on the Dragon Maid deck profile. And then, of course, we have the star of this series.
Welcome. This is the Round Table. I'm Mimic. I've been here from the very beginning as random objects on the screen that you have seen. I never was missing. Don't worry about it.
he was always here. You guys just never saw.
Welcome. This is us. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that may or may not matter to literally any of you, but that's what we're here for. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. And before we actually start off, guys, I would like to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for all of the support that we have gotten so far for the start of our channel. We appreciate every single one of you guys that have subscribed. And we're just going to keep climbing higher and higher. And yeah, I really hope you guys are enjoying our content. We have loads more planned. So yeah, so definitely stay tuned.
And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, do it. It's free, and you can join the journey of the game.
Absolutely. You can join us at every step of the way.
Become a squire.
It's the quest.
It's the quest, that's right. So we all have our Borload Savages here. So as you saw in our previous videos, the Borload Savage is our mascot of the channel. So
we are represent.
Yeah, represent. So anytime anybody wants to talk, we are going to be lifting this up.
Hit him with the sleeve flex.
Yeah.
Because it's Sauron, right?
Yep.
I'm Sauron. That's right. I'm the only one here with a questing type sleeve. That's
all right. So Mimic's got some good topics for to start us off. So I am going to let Mimic go ahead and start us off.
So here we are. Realistically, this is a podcast type thing. So we're just going to talk about some stuff. That's what the round table's all about. Like, imagine Arthur and his squires, except Arthur's an asshole. Hi. I want to, first of all, say especially thanks for 50 subs. That's huge.
Yeah, that's real
Thank
big.
you guys
Yeah.
so
That's
much.
more than we thought we would hit in this time frame. You guys are the real stars here. So I'm gonna keep looking at the sky and pretending each star is one of you guys in the most satisfying way possible.
Absolutely, guys. And yeah, we appreciate every bit of it, guys. Keep liking our videos. You know, just like Wyatt said, hit that notification bell, smash it, just do whatever you gotta do, man. Whatever you gotta do.
Before I get into it, I do want to mention that me and Judge Prophet, we have a plan for a beginner series for Yu-Gi-Oh! We know that there's a lot of people that they just don't know how to get into this game, and we're going to try to make it as easy for them as possible, because despite all the trash talk we say about Konami and everyone says about it, they make a fun game, and we hate it and love it all at the same time. We hope you hate and love it too.
Absolutely, that's part of the fun of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sometimes you have a great night, other times you rip your hair out and go home and cry.
Yeah.
and while we're on that topic, hating ourselves, absolutely, isn't that a perfect time to talk about the current state of the game? Let's hit it off with that.
Yeah,
we
all
just
right.
left a break my board meta, which is like we thought would be a much like more favorable exit to it, right? Then now here we are staring at the new version of Break My Board. I have the strongest boss monster in the game. Hello, Zeus.
Yeah, that thing is a card. That thing is a card. Tough.
Never before has a single X-Strike monster made Zodiac so relevant.
I know, like indirect support for Zodiacs. Just yeah.
I will argue that Norden was a card back in the day, which
but
allowed.
we're no longer in Norden meta.
But no, we're in virtual world,
It's
my
been a
friend.
hot topic, my guy.
We're in the virtual world, and if you haven't picked those up, I would probably pick them up before they keep skyrocketing, because...
Yeah, they're going up. I mean, not to flex on all of you viewers, but I picked mine up for just a healthy, like, 70 Canadian, right? Like,
Yeah.
I bet you guys are feeling pretty mad. I love it.
Yeah.
I will say that we technically are in the virtual world right now.
Oh, it's a dad joke.
Sorry, saw the opportunity.
Mom, turn off the Digimon!
So one little thing too while we're talking, we each all have our own little pet deck. If you're looking for anything Zodiac, you are going to be looking for Prophet and Judge. We got that Zodiac deck profile coming at you guys real soon.
It's gonna be good.
It's going to be real good. If you're looking for anything that is going to be Dino related or virtual world, you got Mimic.
Basically, what he's trying to say is I'm a meta slave and he hates me.
Absolutely.
His words, not mine.
Yeah, and then of course you already saw Wyatt's Dragon Maid deck. You will be seeing his Phantom Knight deck shortly. And of course me, Titan, the wielder of the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, guys. So I play the Dark Magicians. I play the shit out of that deck. Obviously, you saw all my other deck profiles. We got a lot more coming at you, so stay tuned for those for sure.
Honestly, this guy is Bastion. He has so many decks.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, if I had one of those, like,
sitting on cards.
if I had one of those uniforms that Bastion was wearing, I would just open her up and you'd see every single one of my
Man,
decks.
if you guys
just-
saw the mail that came in,
Yeah, literally,
this boy's
loads
sitting
of
here
mail.
cracking packages. We're like, all right, let's see how it is, Titan. You play with your cards in the corner, and we'll sit down at the table. Right?
Yeah.
So like when we talk about having multiple decks, I used to until your boy needed money. We hit the crush card season.
Yeah, we hit crush card season, and yeah, stuff needed to happen. So.
Yeah.
So everybody's pretty much down to one deck, but you still got me just throwing everything at you guys. So
See, I'd like have more money to buy more decks, except my problem is I play too many card games.
that's very true.
Like, I'm sitting here like, oh, I need more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and there's like a fucking $700 commander deck in my backpack.
Who is this guy?
It's like some of you guys that play commander are like, that's rookie numbers. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what? $700 ain't rookie numbers to most people. All right, calm down. Stop getting agitated.
Oh my goodness.
It's fine. We're fine. It's fine.
So
Good.
agitation, hand traps.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of good hand traps right now, but the problem that everyone's having is like deciding what hand traps to fit into your deck. And on that note, I want to start by saying I'm a strong believer that right now, Nibiru is exception.
Oh, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a high impact hand trap,
Yeah.
which is already like good as it is, and even like some of these controlling style decks are summoning 5 times in a turn.
Yeah.
5 summons is not a lot.
No, it's really not. No, every deck is able to do at least that. You know, like you said, like even control decks are busting out five.
Yeah,
five
we're not
summons in
playing
a turn.
Frognarks anymore, people.
No, it's just not. Yeah, it's a card, and
One
yeah,
pass.
it's definitely recommended for sure. One hand trap that I really think is going to be on the rise, which we were talking about earlier, was No Material.
Yeah.
I think No
Yeah.
Material is going to be a fantastic
Busted.
card for
I'm
this
metaphorically
meta.
Jocelyn Lee's Jimmy's for his.
He
Maybe.
didn't get it.
I'm thinking about it, because, like, I might need them. So
I'm happy that you have thoughts.
I got so many thoughts.
See that slower and less
Having thoughts. With those thoughts, though, one of the cool things that we've all been brainstorming is you see our logo on our channel here. It's not going to be the permanent one. We have some spicy things in the way coming up for what the Game Nights logo will actually look like, and we have some plans for that stuff. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be pretty fresh.
It's gonna be spicy.
Or-
you guys
or-
gonna like it.
Pretty savage.
Ooh. He's spicing it.
Ooh, soon TM.
Soon. But I think one of the craziest hand traps right now that people might be sleeping on it. You can argue that it is counteracted with DD Crow is Ghost Bell Haunted
Oh
Mansion.
yes.
Its variety is so impactful because a lot of decks now in the progressing forward meta is either specialing from the specialing from the graveyard, banishing from the graveyard,
Yep.
or they're trying to add stuff back from the graveyard. And did we all know that Call by the Grave banishes a card from the graveyard?
Yeah,
You can
that's true.
Ghost spell that. People also argue that DD Crow is exceptionally better. It's not a once per turn card. But, I mean, if you wanted to ever catch your opponent off guard, Ghost Bell might be something to look into, especially with that nice maximum gold reprint.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, to add on to that, actually, Bell in tandem with DD Crow. Like, if you're playing against a lot of graveyard decks that you just really want them to not have them.
Yeah, to just not be able to
That's
play their
like
graveyard.
6
Yeah.
potential Crow type effects.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised.
That's no joke.
I'm actually really surprised that in like previous formats, because we have had formats where graveyard decks was a thing, but you never really saw Ghost Bell in a lot of side decks. They kind of shied away from it, and they always picked DD Crow over it, or just something else, right? But I think now that Call by the Grave has been limited, and graveyards are so important. It's literally like your second deck.
Yeah.
I think Ghost Bell literally like needs to be something in everybody's side deck for this format. 100%.
That's something that I wanted to talk about. Which hand traps would you main compared to side deck?
Got you. Yes. And that's another thing too. Like we're going into a meta where hand traps need to be mained now instead of just being all sided. Because before you could just have everything that's your engine just in the main deck. You can worry about all the hand trap stuff mostly in the side. Some people were maining Ash still. I think Ash is still
I think on that
pretty much the most the most main decked hand
Yeah,
trap.
yeah,
I'd say,
absolutely.
right? So.
But like with that being said, I think a lot of people have like linear thinking on that. Like instead of just focusing on what are the generally best hand traps, maybe you could tailor your main deck hand traps to like what type of deck you play, right?
Yeah.
Which is like something I notice like a lot of like newer Yu-Gi-Oh players just don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like of course like that takes a lot of time to like understand what your deck struggles against and how to counteract that, right?
Yeah.
But I think for about like 70% of the decks right now, maining Nibiru is like optimal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whoa, now. Nibiru was a great card in the side, previous formats, and now it's used in the main. Now, because, as we all talked about, every deck summons at least 5 times.
Yeah.
But when you hit them with that spicy 4th summon pass, I've lost many a games with that. With like, ooh, if they just summon that 5th summon.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Yeah, it all depends on
That's
how
true.
well your
There's
opponent
also, like,
reads the
very
game.
few decks that are going to do only the 4 summons. Like you play Zoo, like you're probably one of the most like common people to just literally do this 4 pass.
Yeah.
But like when you look at like some of like the big hitters right now, like Dragonlink, Infernoble,
Dino.
Virtual World now, Dino, like
everything is
there's
gonna
not a
wanna
single
extend.
time where they're playing where they're not summoning at least 4 times. Like some people would argue, yeah, like Dino can like make a Dolka first, especially depending on the variant they're playing. But it's like, yeah, that's fine. But if they don't, you catch them in that. And that's like the same goes for like Ash and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
Ash is lower impact but more consistent. And I think right now, so many things can play through low impact hand traps that just the high impact option of Nibiru gives a lot to the deck.
Yeah.
Have you read Misk?
Have you read Misk?
I have.
Have you read Misk?
Many a times.
Have
my
they
friend.
read Miss?
Have you
If you haven't read Miscellaneousaurus, its first clause says, I'm unaffected by activated effects.
Yeah.
Period.
Period.
Fuck you.
turning every dino into a towers, folks. Not acceptable in my books.
No.
But hey, it's
Apparently acceptable in Konami's book.
apparently.
Flashing that nice newly allowed double sleeve.
Ooh, hidden with the fresh.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be able to find these sleeves by the way.
Yeah, it's
But
just-
I applaud you for trying, viewers.
Yeah.
With that, you just throw the Misk out the
Yeah. Literally, I mean, and kind of
It's a hand trap in its own.
going along, just continuing with like Ghost Bell and DD Crow.
Deck Misk?
Is that something that needs to be like main decked? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just
While
considering
we're on
how.
the topic of Misk, I've been blown out by Prophet far too many times with a standby phase Lancia.
One time. I did it one time.
one time in one set. We played more than that set that night.
I still didn't win that other time I won it though. Let's be serious. Okay, so it was 2 victories, but it was
Just
still
because
4
you
losses.
bricked the rest of your hand does not mean that it didn't stop me from playing.
It wasn't a brick. You just had it on.
Not that one game, but there was the other time you lanced and you just had nothing. You're like set 3. I'm like,
It's over.
Yeah.
I might as well just scoop the game.
Yeah, literally.
What were you saying about hand traps?
Oh, I was just saying, I think just in going back to what we were talking about with DD Crow and Bell is like, do you guys think that it should be something that should be main decked for this format, considering how heavy graveyard,
I'm not
decks
sure
are
it's
kind
a
of.
main deck card. I think it's great in the sideboard, but I think that there are also a lot of cards that, yes, they're resources in the grave, but once it's there, like they don't necessarily need to recur it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel like it depends on how popular certain decks become. Because if everyone is playing PKBA, then I can see that card being mained all the time.
Yeah, I could see that too, yeah. I could see at least Crow. I don't know about Bell, but I could at least see Crow.
Yeah.
At least 2 copies, if we're gonna don't want to commit too much deck space to it.
I would agree with that. Like, Crow would be like the choice main deck.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think about in that is like oftentimes your hand traps also being a tuner can come into play.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that is true, yes.
Oh, right, because we forgot we have Halky Fibrax.
Yeah, Halky
still
Fibrax
around.
is still a card.
Yeah, it's not banned.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen with this upcoming ban list. That might change completely everything.
Dragon 3!
heading into the new year, so.
All of us could rant for probably what feels like hours about what we want on the ban list, but
Maxi to 3.
with that being said, maybe we'll have to save that for a future video. Actually, let us know if you want to see something.
Yeah,
like
if you
that.
want to see, absolutely. If you want to see a
Maybe
ban list
we'll
discussion,
make like another video where we just rant about what we want on the ban list, and if you ask any of us about what we think will be on the ban list, none of us will agree anyways. So.
Everybody has their biased opinion on what they want.
See, they all want this
off
kit
the ban
because
list.
they don't want me to have fun.
No, that's not why. I don't want this kit.
I would like this.
Hill makes the Doctor too OP.
Yeah.
Pill, yeah.
Just
Actually, me and Titan were talking about a likely card that it's a problem card. Unlikely they'll hit it because of how recent it is, but Animadorn is a big issue.
Yes, Archosaur just being,
Without that card existing, I really don't think Dinos perform as well as they do, and that's a fair hit to the deck.
Yeah, I agree, because it searches the pill. It basically allows that extra, UCT or the Quatless if they already have UCT, depending on their hand. It's just a little too free in my opinion. So I don't know. It could be something they could hit in the future. They could maybe hit it to 1 because we all know Konami makes stupid hits all the time. They may just put it to 1 first and then ban it, or they just could outright ban it. It is a possibility. So
I'd be okay with OV getting hit too.
Or OV getting put to 1, but. Not to get too deep into ban list discussions. Like I said, we'll probably save that for a future. Yeah, we could talk about it forever.
Get
so.
off topic at the slightest mention of the ban list.
Yeah, possible future video though for that. So.
But if we're gonna keep talking about hand traps, what's maybe some less prominent ones that you have a lot of faith in, ones that aren't used as frequently that you think could be very powerful?
One of the hand traps that I guess we missed by accident, because obviously Ash is a no-brainer, it's Ash, whatever, is because of the recent showing that Virtual World has actually put on, because they're a face-up, we've learned, we've seen the meta go from you negate my effect, I kind of fold, to you negate my effect, I keep playing through it. We talked about Nibiru being a high impact, go Stoker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decks right now that in order to play, they need a face-up thing on the field, and even if you're not negating that effect, if they lose that card on the field, that can be what makes or breaks. And a similar card related to that is Gamma. I'm sure all of you guys have seen Gamma.
Oh yeah, Gamma, and it's one of the reasons why Gamma is one of the best hand traps in the game right now, because it not only negates, it also removes that resource from the field.
It's probably the most main deckable hand trap.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what about you?
Yeah.
It's not so much a hand trap, but more so a card really good still opening, but it's for going first. Blizzard.
Oh.
Blizzard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So let me touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe viewers don't know what Blizzard is.
So Blizzard is basically MST negate. It can target a face-up spell card. It is a spell speed 2, so you have quick effect, and you can get to negate it and return it to hand if it would go to graveyard.
Yeah.
So if they try to dark roller you or anything, you can just flip up the Blizzard and be like, hey, not this time.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen more representation of Blizzard in even just some side decks, because I think it's a solid card. There may be some better options, but honestly it's not half bad.
Yeah.
There are a lot of continuous spells, a lot of field spells that are just really, really good. And I feel like that Blizzard can be really, really good against those types of decks.
This is definitely one of those discussions where me and Prophet have a differing opinion. We're of the stance where Solemn serves the same purpose but better.
Some judgment, to be honest.
To be specific.
To be specific.
That's our opinion, but
that's fair too.
But that's also again, why this round table is a thing.
Yeah,
right?
it really all depends on what cost you're willing to give, to use the card, because obviously the judgment, yes, you are negating and it's removing it, from the field. They can't like grab it back like Blizzard does. However, you are paying that 4K, right? So it just depends. Would you rather have them have that card back to your hand and you know that you're going to be able to OTK them anyways, so that card's irrelevant regardless? Or do you just pay just to remove it from their ability to like, oh, it's still in my hand, right?
Another cool thing is it completely negates, for Blizzard anyway, it completely negates any card of that name.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they can't just try to activate it again from hand or
That
whatever.
is true, yeah. If it is a
That's just one of
non-once
the
per
benefits,
turn...
like if they open multiple.
Yeah, if it's a non-once per turn, perfect example, quick launch. If you happen to Blizzard that quick launch, they can't quick launch again if they happen to open multiples, right?
Yeah.
So
I would
that I
just
will
chain
give.
quick launch in the same chain.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
you could, yes, you could.
One thing that I actually will add as benefit to like Blizzard is like it kind of f's up field spells.
Oh, hardcore.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've had just like my Lost World Blizzarded, and then it's like, well, I can't even search another one.
Yeah,
Play it.
or the fact of like it's crazy because like when back in the meta when Vanity's Emptiness was around, rip maybe to one, who knows?
Don't rest in
But
peace, but do rest.
it basically Burning Abyss took so advantage of that because they would play Trap Stun. I don't know if people like saw those things, but like they would Vanity's going first, and then when it came back to their turn, like you turn off your opponent's complete board, and if they can't get rid of it, they can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or if they were about to get rid of a card, you just flip up Trap Stun, and the Vanity's just turns off on their turn, and they just keep going.
Yeah.
So like, just to see, it's the same instance because it's a form of like it's spell stun. It only targets spells, but
Yeah.
like just the ability to like play through like a weird like instance where like you turn it off on your turn, but then your opponent's locked under it on their turn.
Yeah.
Is an interesting setup because like not a lot of people probably have looked into those continuous spells as you just talked about with your field spell. You just what are you gonna do? You can't activate it now. It's just there sitting there.
You know, like when we're on the topic of things that are like, you know, like that stop you from doing things, floodgate type effects. A card that's actually, I think, more relevant now that it's kind of an Xyz style meta for the most part is Dimensional Barrier.
Oh yes, that's actually it's a good hot take.
Get some words for that one.
Yeah, that's actually.
I'll
that's
let you go first.
Yeah,
Donnie, then.
that's a good take. I've actually played around with that in previous formats, but yeah, in this format, it could be really good because a lot of decks are kind of shying away a little bit from having to link all the time.
Yeah.
So you are seeing a lot of Xyz, sync rolls, absolutely for sure.
Nutty.
We still see tons of sync rolls, of course. You know, Savage.
Virtual world, we're looking
Link
at that.
rows.
Yeah, basically.
It like honestly, back in the day, like D barrier was so heavy, like when Zoomats were running the format, but you never saw a lot of them like. Well, I wouldn't say never, but you would never. A lot of the tops didn't even have it. They didn't even play through it.
Yeah,
like the mirror match, they didn't worry about it. It was like in the XZ meta, I guess. Obviously, if you can turn them, because Zeus can only happen going second. It can't happen going first. So like if you set up the D barrier and you flip it up. Like the main decks that are super strong in XYZs right now it's not even Phantom Knight, but Phantom Knight is consistent, my man. I'm more talking about like virtual probably, and obviously Zeus because that's their extra deck is their main deck. Let's be serious. So I just think like if you were looking to get that probably could be a good pickup, or even dealing with it of like another card we probably didn't talk about was Summon Limit.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
Summon Limit, that's a good one right now.
Yeah.
Tikabo, there can be only one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like
the TC Boo, yep. There
a
can
little
only be
more
one.
representation, but I do think that people will start playing it less and start expecting it less because Virtual World plays through it relatively easily. But with that being said, like there's other decks that just don't play with that card up.
Yeah.
And
well,
like you
well,
can't
just,
base everything around one deck, right?
Well-
Like sure, Virtual World's got a lot of representation, but like if you play against Inferno and you flip that, they're not having it. Like,
What were your thoughts?
no, I was just gonna say to kind of mirror what he was saying. Adamantipator.
exactly.
You flip up. There can only be one on Adamantipator. They just don't play the game. It's disgusting.
Ooh, right.
Like
Yes.
it's over.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
over. Like
Unless you have a main deck out,
Yeah.
which you know,
yeah.
Harpy's Feather
Yeah,
Duster.
yeah, we did get the Duster finally after how many years of that card being banned?
Since I was
Let's
a
talk
child.
about that one. Okay.
Yeah.
First Raigeki 2 to 3 years before, and now
Yeah,
Duster.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Love it.
Is that essentially saying that maybe Konami's just trying to spice their lives up a little bit, right?
Just maybe.
If they want to really add some spice, just put Pot of Greed back.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
well, like,
we got a little bit of the GO format coming out.
We keep seeing
in
these
us
like
there.
power cards, to use like almost like a magic term, because they kind of captioned the term power cards. Is it possible that we're going to see more of those? Like, look at Triple Tactics. It's 3 power cards on one card.
Into one. Yeah,
That's a quick play.
I can
No,
see
it's-
not a quick play.
It was initially
it's a responsive play.
It was initially, I was pretty sure it was initially supposed to be a quick play. I do remember like initial leaks on it, and it was supposed to be a quick play, because that's why I went absolutely
bonkers.
nuts,
Yeah.
bonkers over this card, because it was a quick play. But
Yeah,
then I
Konami
think,
became babies.
well, I
Or it
also, considering how good the card is, I think they rightfully did change that,
yeah,
because as a quick play, that card would be absolutely insane.
I mean, no, like
Just-
a few of those modes are actually still banned, like the original cards.
All of them.
All 3 are
All
bad.
3 of them
All
are
three
banned,
still
right?
banned.
So that's why
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know.
So like,
I think it's fair because you can only use one of them, and if you get stopped, then it's okay. Because,
yeah, but is that not like the same as just having Change of Heart at one?
I mean, like,
You
Change
can
of
only
Heart.
use one of them.
But Change of Heart didn't have the clause like you keep it.
That's true. Yeah.
You didn't just give it back. And like all of them were technically eroded into the card to fix it, because like the Change of Heart was end phase, I believe. If it's not, then prove me wrong in the comments. And then the take one from the hand was eroded because you got to look at your opponent's hand. Now you can't, it's random.
Yeah.
And then they draw 2, well, you know, it's drawn 2 cards. But you need to be hand trapped first.
So what we're saying is
typically it's
Pot
gonna
of
be a
Greed
hand
can
trap,
come back because Tactics is a 3.
I mean, like, Pot of Greed isn't once per turn.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
So,
Are we going? I'll be
Yes,
running
but
3
alternatively, you can
Pot of
also
Greed.
run 3 Tactics in a deck.
you can only use it once per turn, though. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
but like, unlike Extravagance and Desire, it's not really a drawback.
that is honestly, I mean, it's more reactive because like if you're in a commanding position and you need the tactics, you can steal the game obviously, but
That's
like
true.
it's very unfair because you can completely change the game depending on which you choose. But I honestly just think like drawing 2 isn't as impactful as other decks can abuse the Change of Heart or the ripping out of the hand, especially if they've been hand trapped.
Oh,
into
100%. Like, I agree with that. Like, the other modes are arguably more impactful. In fact, I would say almost definitely more impactful.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
like, with that being said,
It feels nice. to draw.
if we look at like
It always
things
is.
that Konami's been doing, going back to the point, is the next ban list just going to be more scary things coming back?
Hopefully.
I mean,
I'd like
You
that.
say hopefully.
they
like
gave
it's
us
a good thing.
they gave us Bardish, which is
Shouldn't
you.
have come back.
it's so strong, but also at the same time, it does more for the deck than people thought. And in my opinion, like, I'll say this because I'm a Zoo fanboy, but like a once per turn pop, potentially having 2 Dryadens on the field, isn't this scary, that format? Because like I have had the chance to have like 2 Dryadens, and like I still was gonna lose the duel because of the underwhelming presence that somebody can set up against it, especially when you have like other things running around. However, I just think like Bardish is gonna be fine because it balances itself, because it's not a boss monster, it's like a mid boss. It gets you to things.
It's almost like an engine more than a boss.
Yeah.
This just brings us like full circle back to like one of the first things we talked about. We're also like in a no longer break my board meta, but it's who can make like the best boss monster type meta, which is why like I think a lot of people advocate for like, yes, Rusty shouldn't have come off, is like some people's opinions, which is fine. Like, it's a good card, but it's not like the card that's winning you the game.
No, it's what it'll lead to.
It leads to it, and like it's good in like grindy metas because it's so recurable. But like right now, we're staring down like some boss monsters that just say no to people playing. Like, you know, Calamities, right? Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Oof.
Like, to be honest,
Calamity is also known as Virtual World Turbo.
or VFD for those who are old players.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. Just like progression of the game, honestly. Like, just I think it's funny that Bardish came back, and then we're everybody's talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna see Halki Fibrax banned here. I mean, honestly, it's kind of the same idea. You know, Bardish is not the boss monster that's going to win you the game. It's just going to lead you into other things. Yeah. It's the same thing with Halki Fibrax. I have been a proponent of that Hulk. I do believe the card is extremely good, but do I think that it really needs to be banned? No, because I think the natural progression of the game should allow that card to be acceptable to some extent. However, it should never be at more than one.
What's your opinion there?
I agree.
Yes,
it needs to be.
With that being said,
only ever a one.
The problem card there is probably Link Cross more than
never two,
right?
Yes, that one I think is
like
the
Link
more
Cross
card.
is like. It's almost like your way to play around hand traps with the Hulk type engine, which I think is what makes it the more problematic of the two.
Yes.
Because like you hand trap Hulk, and that sucks, but like at the end of the day, they're just turning it into 2 tokens, and like in a deck like Dinos, that's 2 activations of UCT over time, my guy.
Yeah.
That's free monsters.
Yeah.
And like Link Karibo gets to say, hey, one of those monsters lets me Link again.
Yeah.
And like that in tandem with like Predaplant.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because like you stop Hulk, you make Link Cross, and you make Link Cross, bring back like Link Karibo, and suddenly you have like material for Verde.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is why I think
Dragoon
that
once per turn.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It basically just leads to like Link Cross being kind of like a bit ridiculous overall.
Yeah.
Not because of what it does individually, because of what it facilitates. Link Cross is also like the only reason that like in for Noble some decks are able to like do the VFD build.
Yeah, that's
right?
true, yeah.
Like that facilitates their boss monster. And like yes, maybe they'd still be able to do it otherwise, but they have to jump through some hoops to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Link Cross is one of the biggest reasons why VFD is such a problematic card right now. It's literally just makes it so much easier to make those level 9s, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So
and Cloud Castle being a card.
Being a card, yeah, 100% agree.
I don't think Cloud Castle is inherently broken. I just think it facilitates too simple of a way to make VFD.
Yeah.
With that, like it, like going back, I remember like back when you had your O-Lion and you had your Jet Synchron, right? Because those were the 2 biggest tuners like ever, and they were nothing before Halki Fibrax came out. And the crazy thing that they got banned, and now everyone's playing Plague Spreader, or an inherent archetype tuner, and I honestly think it's slowed down what people view of it as. Link, Dragon Link is out of the question. Get it out of here. Like obviously in the Dragon Link, the reason why it's so busted is because like they have so many ways to extend. Like the deck is more extension than it is anything else. And it is still one of the best decks in the format because of what it can do.
A lot of times you just don't feel like it's ever running out of steam.
Yeah, and that's literally why I believe like Hulk, and after hearing what you said, I'm like, in my opinion, I don't think Hulk actually deserves to ever be banned.
No,
the cards it facilitates to
Yeah.
should be dealt with in an appropriate manner. Don't just ban a card because you're like, oh, it's busted, it's gonna break my game. You should have it so like both, like, because going second now sometimes I think is stronger than going first.
Sometimes, yeah.
Arguably.
There are.
Pankro.
Yeah, because Alpha being printed. Obviously, you got things like Lightning Storm, which they incorporated Raigeki, like a form of Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster into one card. It's kind of a funny.
Dark Ruler.
Dark Ruler.
Droplets.
You know, like on like
yeah.
Droplets and Storm, that just leads me to like, yikes, Yu-Gi-Oh is expensive right now.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
And they just keep pumping sets out.
I know a
when
lot
did
of
this come out? Tell me the price of this in the comments as of this video date.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know.
See, like the thing is that like a lot of the people who are already like playing on a competitive level, like the price of cards doesn't bother them as much anymore. But like imagine like you're just coming into Yu-Gi-Oh and you're looking at these people that like they're saying like, oh, like these are like staple power cards that you need to have, and like you're looking at like 130 Canadian dollars for like
Per
the Lightning
card.
Storm.
Well, yeah, and that's
And you're sitting there, it's like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
yeah, no, exactly, and that goes in, that completely ties in with the state of the game, is like just the cost of the game as well. It's outrageous right now. Like we need to have a better system, I think.
Give us some common reprints.
I think right now it's just our secondary
Or
market.
super.
A lot of people are like,
or super, yeah.
a lot of people I think value the cards higher than maybe they should, and a lot of people see that price and they just jump on the bandwagon instead of trying to challenge it, right?
Yeah.
The secondary market is kind of like full of a few people that dictate the base price early on, and then other people follow like sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas if we had people that like wanted to like challenge these prices, regulate it a little more, then the game would be a little more affordable. Like me and Titan have talked a lot about this because we think it's unheard of. I don't think any secret should be over $50 a copy.
Yeah,
When your box
100%
is
agree.
like sitting around that point, you shouldn't be able to pull a card and it pay for 2 boxes. That's
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. I will.
Like, realistically, look at your chances. That's just greed.
Yeah, I mean Konami. I will give Konami credit for eliminating the short printing. That was one of the biggest issues that led to this problem. So I am glad that they are kind of paying somewhat attention, even though sometimes we all joke that they don't care.
They're getting a little better though.
But they are getting better. So I will commend them for that. And yeah, hopefully they'll continue. As the years go on, that maybe they will kind of fix this issue a little bit more. Because it does really make it difficult for a lot of players that are or that you have friends, right?
Yeah.
And you want to show them what game you play, and then they're just like, oh, this game's really cool.
And
but
then you like try to justify the prices to them.
Well, you tell them what these cards cost, like, oh, like how much would it cost to get these cards, and you tell them, and it just instantly discourages them.
Yeah, it's like I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
With my wallet.
Yeah, yeah. R.I.P. my wallet.
Like, I like
it's-
the game, but
But
not
that kind of
much.
like
exactly.
leads like the determining factor of the problem being almost with the secondary market, right?
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, yes, Konami short printing and stuff, but like the community could have still found a way around that.
We did. We had in our video, in our hero video, you can see that we have 2 ulti. What are they called? The Mass Hero Darklaw.
Yeah.
I had it as well. We sold them for half of what everyone wants to sell them for. Not because we wanted to make money faster. It's just the card should not be $400 a
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it should
That's a
never get
deck.
to that point.
Especially
$800.
because like
Yeah.
it doesn't help that, no offense hero players, it's not really meta relevant.
Yeah, right.
So like why is it sitting at that price?
Yeah, well, and that's
like,
another
I
thing.
get there's like collectors and stuff like that, but really when it comes down to it, like Konami, if the set is still like relatively available and there's still like decent stock on these cards and people have these cards, there's just no real reason for the prices to be where they are.
No, I 100% agree. I think the collector's market I think has too much influence on the price of these cards
I
that
think it's
are
almost like an elitism.
yeah, because the prices of cards that are not relevant, like good example, Harpy Perfumer. Like,
Oh wow!
like my goodness, that
Oh,
card,
geez.
like it is in a deck that is completely like nowhere to be seen. Like nobody plays that
Yeah.
competitively, but yet the Perfumer itself is $60. You're paying $180 for 3 cards for a deck that's not even relevant, not even close to relevant.
So
Like
you started with Toon Kingdom.
Yeah,
did Alti reprint.
Yeah.
Toon Kingdom, like same thing. Like it's all these legacy
It's
things.
obvious they're trying to like appeal to these collectors, right?
Yeah, which
But,
is
like,
fine, but
it's the secondary market. Like, oh, you're a collector. Give me all your fat stacks for this card that's never going to see play.
yeah, like it's crazy. Like I even ran it. Like I met somebody actually, just when I was down at my local card shop. I can't even remember what his name was. What the heck is his
Kenny.
name? No, it wasn't. No.
Shout out to you, Kenny, if you're watching this video.
Yeah, if your name's Kenny, leave a comment.
I'm just trying to think of what his name was right now.
We'll call him Joe. It's not his name, but his name's Joe.
Yeah, well anyways, so he just like he was a big collector and like he would just be bragging about how he would have collectors just drop $10,000 on Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and like to me that is absurd.
Jesus.
Like that is
I don't even think I
absolute-
feel comfortable taking that.
No,
money
like
for
it is
silver.
crazy. Like
No.
collectors
Like,
have
I'd be like, cool, but don't.
like collectors like
How about no?
they're willing to just like have these deep pockets, and it really is unhealthy for like the prices of these cards. Like
Yeah.
it's not acceptable. It's just not.
If you're holding on to some expensive cards, maybe don't hold on to them for so tightly.
Yeah.
For I picked up a card, 3 cards that were worth up to $700. I met someone who decided to hear my pain because someone was not going to part with it, and dropped it for almost 1/3 to half the price.
Yeah, and
And I was like, still a lot of money, but he was like, yeah, man, here you go.
the
This
thing
is kind of like the stuff that needs to happen to fix it.
Yeah, and like the thing that I really dislike is the collectors, all they want is their money, right? They're not typically people that play the game, and that's another problem is
Or care about
because
people who do.
exactly because like if you are a player, why would you be trying to like get this much like a certain amount of money for these cards when you yourself don't want to be paying for this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why you're advocating those things, right? So as a secondary market, we got to learn to just calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have some reasonable prices. Sure.
You, before you start angry typing in the comments, yes, I'm looking at you. I see you.
We all do.
At one point in time, I co-ran a game store, and I think we were the only one in my hometown that was trying to make it easy for new players. Like, I had a large collection. I played a Pokemon a lot at the time, and these like kids would come in hopeful to like compete in tournaments. Because like, what's the coolest thing when you're a kid is like, I want to go to a tournament, not because you want to win, because you want to play.
But you just want to experience it. Yeah.
So like, I kid you not, like this isn't even just me like making up some story for you guys. I would just give away like these semi-competitive decks to kids because their parents aren't going to spend that kind of money for them.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, I'm operating a game store. I got like fucking 50 copies of these in the back, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
the least I could do was help you out. You get into the game, and as you grow up, you help other people get into it.
Yeah. It advocates too much of a pay-to-win kind of mentality. It really does. I mean, and other card games have this problem too. It's not just Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
But just in general, I think it's definitely something that needs to change. 100%. And honestly, another thing that I noticed that they used to do, just when we were doing some research for one of our upcoming series, stay tuned for that, is that Konami actually printed a lot of these like power cards in lower rarities before.
Oh yeah.
Like you saw it like in these old school packs. Some of the best cards weren't secret rare. They weren't ultra rares. They were just commons and rares.
Yeah.
Like I wish that they would be more willing to print these cards in lower rarities. I understand. I love me some secret rares. I love me them high rarity cards.
Secrets, boys.
Don't get me wrong, we all do. But I think for the health of the game, especially for people at a younger age that don't have the money, it should be, they should have these cards available in lower rarities so that it makes it easier for people to at least get into the game and to be able to compete a little bit.
Like, there isn't like a good starting point.
Yeah.
Maybe like the power cards, like the cards that everyone should need 3 of in their deck, staples type stuff, should be lower rarities.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like maybe you have like archetype specific secrets and stuff that way, like
you gotta shovel out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, right now
it's like at least you have the basics, like you have the skeleton of a deck at a relatively affordable price, and then if you're like wanting to go this one specific archetype, like if it's a little more expensive, it doesn't hurt so bad because you're not needing to pay like $400 for the place of a card.
And the
one card.
And the best part is like once that falls out of rotation, you can just sell all of that stuff, get some money back for it, and then you can still keep all your staple stuff. So you literally, it's just going to be easier for you to keep building other decks throughout, how the meta progresses.
Yeah.
And one thing I will admit that they have been doing really well as of late, I think they need to keep doing it, and I think they need to keep pushing harder for it, is the structure decks. They are printing, they are doing some good reprints for staples. Dark Ruler's coming out in the new, Charmers structure deck.
Exactly.
That's great. We want to see more things like that.
Give everyone Dark Ruler.
Yeah, give everyone Dark Ruler. It is a necessary card for this meta.
Yeah, I actually, like on that topic, I feel like they shouldn't be afraid to reprint lower rarities of like recent cards, especially.
Absolutely.
Because again, like Lightning Storm and triple taxing and stuff like that, like they're unheard of in the price department.
Yeah.
And like even if like they just gave like 1 per structure deck, like realistically, Konami's not making the money off that secondary market.
No, they're not.
What is like Konami's incentive to keep trying to push these like hard to get lottery cards that the secondary market just like eats up and feeds to people like you need this at this price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One discussion that I heard recently, we're all a proponent of having Maxi, come back.
Please.
But I have heard some arguments, just like some people saying that there is no possible way that Konami will ever do that because there are people in the secondary market that are holding onto those so tightly so that when they come off the ban list, that they're going to skyrocket in price. Like every single deck, like not on a single deck will not play Maxi.
Well, like you look, there's even like some listings like now, even though the card's like claim banned, it's like 50 US.
I know, it's absolutely crazy. I could see that card going up to $250 bucks
easily.
A copy.
If they unban it, they're probably going to come out with a Starlight Rare.
Yeah, like I could see the ulti rare going up to $1,000 a copy. like for Maxi. Like it's absolutely
Please.
You
crazy.
better be financially free if you're buying those.
Yeah,
Please
absolutely.
don't release Starlight Maxi.
Yeah,
See,
please.
here's something, right? Like, if you're going to, let's say, unban this, like, a card like Maxi, or even put it to 1 or anything, like, I get it would be problematic, but realistically, I think the reason most of us want it back is for the memes, for the fun shit. Right?
Oh,
I would
absolutely,
love
absolutely.
to
see that.
Challenge.
I mean, I definitely
but,
think
like,
that.
playing the Maxi challenge is like, we got some nostalgia about that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you gonna keep summoning?
Yeah, it is just another card that, like, you know, puts decks in check, and yeah, like that's just one of the reasons why I would like to see it.
It
back.
would be really gross though to Maxi on their first special summon and then Nibiru them.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
You madman!
Yeah, there are some interactions there that would be extremely.
With that now
degenerate,
on the
but-
table, again, this is like, we talked about like the price of Maxi, and that's just more about the problem with the secondary market. So like Konami, really this could be on you. Like if you just print
And then
these things at
destroy
lower
your-
rarities,
yeah.
like what's stopping you from a common Maxi? Nothing.
Nothing
And
really.
giving yourself a monster.
They actually, I think they actually do have a common Maxi, but
I just mean like a recent printing.
oh
of it,
yeah,
right?
recent printing.
Because
yeah.
like if we get these things, just like relative stables, and we're not saying Maxi's coming back. Don't get scared. Like it's probably not, but we really want it.
I think every Yu-Gi-Oh player wants it, honestly.
Please.
It's kind of just like it comes down to people will always be greedy. So the only way to solve the problem is for these lower rarity staples to become a thing.
Yeah,
Because at the end of
absolutely.
the day, no matter what, people are going to be like, oh, well, I want my money's worth. The problem is that wanting your money's worth has stopped becoming the thing, and it started becoming, I want to make such a ridiculous profit that pulling one of this pays for like multiple boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Which,
Well,
that's a problem mentality.
no, I agree, and I think, you know, I see a lot of Yu-Gi-Tubers even just buying mass amounts. Like you'll see some YouTubers literally buying like 50 to 100
Penguin.
boxes of these sets just to pull the lottery cards.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
they literally don't even play the game. They just want to buy up everything, see if they can pull the Starlight Rares, because Starlight Rares are a thing,
Yeah.
and then obviously just sell them. And they pretty much get all their money back. Because
Yeah.
that one card will net them, depending on which set, can net them an easy, you know, $600-700 US, which, you know, for us is about $1,000 Canadian.
Oof.
And then there's
So-
some of the people that are just like total sacks and just pull God off of one box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Or 6.
And you know what? That's fine. That's honestly fine, because that's a load of fun. Trust me, if it was one of us, we'd have loads of fun doing that. But, you know, I think Starlight Rares, the fact that they printed Starlight Rares and the price that they ask for is also a little ridiculous. Because I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you, I would like a Starlight Rare,
Oh, absolutely.
but it's just not possible for most players.
Yeah.
It just, you know what I mean?
I'd argue that some players, like, they buy a whole bunch to open, but not to open and then sell, like, open and then, like, I see, like, obviously there are some actually, like, decent, like, good channels to watch.
Oh yeah, for
that
sure.
that
Yeah,
open
I'm not
them.
trying to shout out every channel.
No,
for doing
absolutely.
this,
But there are some people who don't even have a YouTube channel that do that,
Yes.
and just kind of just like make it like a money thing. Where like you can honestly relate this to stocks, like the stock market.
Yeah.
And for those of you like he's outlandish, you just know he's talking about business is two things. It's either transactional or it's interactional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I buy a card, like there's a card that a friend of mine just recently traded me. The card that I traded him was worth less than the card that he traded me because he didn't care about the cost. He traded a card. It's called a trading card game,
Yeah, and
not
that,
a buying card.
yeah,
game.
and that's one of the things that's
Exactly, yeah.
completely almost shifted out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just
Just
trading in
trading in
general.
general, yeah.
Like nobody trades anymore. Everybody just wants
Want
their money.
value.
Like,
all money.
especially
It's
like
because people like teach new players in the game that that's the way to do it, right? Which just breeds like kind of like this toxic environment.
So
especially like if I wanted to trade this card for a less valuable card, I would probably just, if I was a normal Yu-Gi-Oh player, would just want the money for the card and not the card that I needed, right?
Yeah.
Where the original intention would be, oh, you have that card and I have this card you need, we trade.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter about the value.
An old schoolmate of mine traded. It was what did he trade? He traded for a Seal of Orichalcos.
Yeah.
And he traded something that was worth like in the $70 range.
Yeah.
Just some kid
I
was
think
like,
it was the Love Oval chain.
yeah, it was Laval Chain when that thing was $70. Yikes! That's a
Yeah.
shout out to how long we've played for. But
Yeah.
he just
Bring that
he's like.
back.
He's like, the guy's, he's like, yeah, I'll trade you this Laval Chain, and the guy's like, all right, and they just traded, and the one dude was like, I got a Laval Chain, and then our friend was like, I got a Seal of Orichalcos because he was obsessed with Seal of Orichalcos. So like, honestly, if we come to like a current state where like Yu-Gi-Oh's too expensive to play, then no one's gonna want to play.
No,
so
exactly.
that's probably like one of our mission statements is to like make it welcoming and affordable for people to play.
Out here where we live, actually, there's very little Yu-Gi-Oh community, and we're trying to build that, right? Like,
Yeah.
The game nights are our quest, so to speak, is to build a Yu-Gi-Oh
trademark.
community.
Yeah. We do want to bring more people together.
And we want it to be a good community because
Absolutely.
the reason the Yu-Gi-Oh community fell apart out here was because of the toxic shark type players, like
Yeah.
money launderers. So anytime someone new came into the game, they basically scare them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not okay. Like, you see all these other people that have like healthy game stores, which is like, we want to bring that feeling to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want a fun, a cooperative environment so that yes, you're competing, but you're not like disliking, because I feel like a lot of people turn that competitive nature into almost like an aggressive nature.
It is becoming very aggressive. And also, another thing I will say too, so we all gotta have each other's backs too. Like, we're all duelists, you know what I mean? We're all here to have fun. So maybe some people a little less than others, but all in all, we're all here to have fun. Whether you're just in it for the wins, whether you're in it just to have fun, whatever. Just watch out for your fellow duelists, man. Like, if you see, like, I've seen this where people have like open packs, they're not relevant, or they don't really care about prices. They don't know, they're not up to date with what the value of cards are. You'll have somebody that will pull a $60 card. You could have somebody look over and see, oh man, he pulled this card. I'm gonna try to scalp this guy. I'm gonna try to give him like $5 for it. And because the guy's thinking, well, I only paid like $5 for the pack, I'm getting my money back. He literally just was able to grab an extra like $50 off of you, just completely ripping you off. And honestly, if you see that, don't let that happen. That's not fair to anybody. Call it out. That's not fair.
Stop.
And also let the vendors know as well. If you are,
want that to happen
right
to
here.
you, so why would you let it happen to someone else?
yeah, exactly. Let the vendors know. Tell them, hey, like, this is unacceptable, because it's just not fair. You know what I mean?
Basically, what we're trying to say is,
stop it. Get some help.
With that, like, we're in Crush Card season, and like it's getting a little more serious in some places. Like, be smart about it. Like, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh's a fun time, and like if you can't meet up with your friends and you can't do stuff, like try doing some what are they called right now?
Remote duels.
Remote duels.
Yeah, do some remote
I know,
duels,
like, a lot of people's cameras are toasters. Sometimes, like ours here, our video, we used to have a toaster. We tried to upgrade to a microwave. Yeah. But it's true. Send us. We're the kids. Need some help.
And like, if it's not even like webcams, there's a lot of like programs you can use to like play. And
yes, they're
really
Discord has
all it
free
comes
share.
down to is don't let people guilt you into needing to buy cards if you can't afford the cards. Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of overshadowed by like the other big card games right now. Like, yes, it's still considered like kind of like one of the big three, so to speak, right? But like, our numbers are nothing compared to Pokemon and Magic.
no.
And like, the thing is by developing like a really healthy community, and like we kind of rely on YouTube to help with that too. Like, the community doesn't get better with one group of people. We're trying, but we need everyone in on that, right?
Everybody needs to, follow
just
suit.
play. Don't care about how they play, like if they just want to play online or something, but play.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
playing online is a great way to test your deck.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there are.
Before you get committed to building, like buying certain cards, make sure that you test it first.
It's actually a great way to make sure that you are going to enjoy the deck, because me and Mimic have talked about that too. Even one of the decks that I'm going to be bringing you guys here pretty soon. I test it. Make sure that you actually like it, because I have a multitude of decks, but honestly, some I swung on and I completely struck out.
Yeah.
One example I'll give, back in when Link first became a thing, I bought hard into Extra Link Ninjas. I absolutely hated my life, guys. Like, I'm telling you, test the deck first, because it looked fun in theory, just being able to Extra Link your opponent out of the game. But trust me,
Hated it.
I hated my life, because if I didn't know how to execute the play to make that extra link, I didn't know how to play the deck. and it just got completely smashed every time, and it wasn't any fun. And I was left wondering, why didn't I test this first before I ended up buying it?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Maybe
happened-
that's. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that happened to me with my Trick Stars when I bought
Yes,
those.
yes.
Yeah.
I think everybody's had that where they just they really like the aesthetic of the deck and they just were like, screw it, I don't really care, what it plays like. I just want the cards. And I
Did I
mean,
just buy a deck and then sell it right after?
I mean,
Amazing.
we'll see how you feel once the dogs come.
yeah.
No, I like them. I've just sold decks because I've just grown tired of playing them because I don't know, a lot of decks have different rhythm.
Yeah.
And if you can't get in tune with the rhythm, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah,
And
it won't be enjoyable for you.
yeah, that's why I've never gotten on the hype of big combos. It's just never been super good. But they're good. Don't get me wrong. But,
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, I was actually getting to almost an ending point here. Maybe that's a great message to leave on. Just play.
Yeah.
Use these programs. Test. Play. Be a good person.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a healthy Yu-Gi-Oh.
Have fun.
Absolutely.
Remember, good luck. Have fun.
Well, this has been the Roundtable.
Hey, if you want to look us up, message us on here. We also have Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want to play us
Yeah.
online, hit us up that way.
Yeah. check us out
Facebook,
on Facebook.
100%. So we'll always respond to messages. We want to grow this community, and it starts with you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm still trying to post as often as possible for our Facebook page. And definitely feel free to let us know what your guys' thoughts are of anything that we discussed in this video down in the comments. We would love to hear your input.
Agree,
Yes,
disagree,
absolutely.
hate, love,
Anything.
nothing.
Anything, just let us
for
know.
sure, and maybe it's not even Yu-Gi-Oh you want to message us again about, right? We're the game nights.
Yeah, we can talk about
Right?
anything.
Yeah.
Represent.
We game boys.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
Game dudes. That's us.
We're
Yeah.
the Game Boys, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Don't come at us.
So here we are, right? This is the game nights.
Yeah.
This is the Roundtable.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Hit the
Yes.
notification
comment,
bell.
subscribe, and we'll leave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Till next time, guys.
Till next time.
Deuces.
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 Now give us a sync clap so everyone get in.
Uno, dos, uno. Stop shaking your fucking.
I fucking spilled my drink on my hand.
Well, that's what you get. You fuck.
What
If you're gonna come anywhere, you're supposed to aim away from yourself. That's fucking Bio 101, my guy.
Just go wash your hands.
Cut.